Hey, so good morning, everyone. I am Sybil Tucker. I am the buyer for this project. This is the pre-bid conference for IFB 24-24972, the Pat Frank Court Building Courtrooms project. And for the record, this meeting is being recorded. Bidders are cautioned that only a written addendum may change the bid document. Any statements or comments made by the county at this meeting, which might appear to modify the bid document, shall be considered by bidders as only a tentative position of the county. In order for these statements to be considered as an actual change to the solicitation, they must be published in a written addendum. So again, today's meeting is being held by Communications Media Technology. Active participation will be for everyone in attendance. Provisions have been made for any member of the public desiring to access the meeting, and the meeting can be made available via recording upon request. As a matter of housekeeping, if you can just make sure your audio is muted unless you're speaking, we'll open the floor at various times for questions. But again, if you can just make sure your audio is muted unless you are speaking. So at this time, I'll just state my name again. I'm Sybil Tucker. I'm the procurement buyer for this project. I'm going to have a few of the county representatives just introduce themselves, and I'll start with the project manager. If you can introduce yourself, and then any other county employees just from the capital programs department can introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Angelica Cordero. I'm with Hillsborough County Capital Programs, the project manager for the Pat Frank project.
Morning, everyone. I'm Amy Jarman. I'm with Capital Programs, Hillsborough County.
And I believe we had the architect on as well. Is that correct? We want to have him introduce himself.
Good morning. I'm Rod Tanner with Renyon and Partners Architects, and we produce the construction documents that are going to be bid.
Okay, so just want to remind you that the cone of silence is in effect for this project. Bidders are prohibited from contacting any of the department representatives anyone from other than procurement services. So just make sure that you're not contacting the architect, you're not contacting Amy, Angelica, or anyone else related to this project other than myself. The cone of silence prohibits that. So you can submit any question you have, submit it to me, preferably through the Bonfires Vendor Discussions portal, and a response will be provided to you. So I'm going to just share my screen. I'm going to just go through a few things related to the bonfire system before we move into the specifics of this project. But let me just share my screen so that we I can show you, refer to the different sections. Is everyone able to see my screen at this time?
Correct. Yes.
Yes, okay. Alrighty, so again, this is IFB 24-24972, the Pat Frank Court Building Courtrooms project. And this is what it looks like in Bonfire. This is the same view that you as the bidder will see when you log in. And you'll see the specifics of the project. It gives you the date, my information. It gives you the close date, which is currently September the 18th at 2 p.m. The close date is currently September 18th at 2 p.m. And as you move further down the screen, it gives you a description of the project, a brief description of the project. It gives you the project estimate. Also talks about the MBE participation goal. We kind of just highlight the important features related to the project. And we also give you the deadline for questions. So again, I'll just read this quickly. To be given considerations, questions and requests for interpretation must be received no later than 14 calendar days after the date of solicitation issuance in bonfire, site visit, or the pre-bid conference, whichever is later. And this information is also stated in the contract terms and conditions document in paragraph 4.7. So at this, since we are having a pre-bid and a site visit today, your clock starts, your 14-day clock starts from today. So 14 days from today will be your deadline for the questions. But we encourage you to get them in sooner than later. Please do not wait until the 14th day. We prefer you submit your questions in early so that we can get the responses back out. In the event we have to do an addendum, then we would need time for us to prepare the addendum and enough time for you to review the addendum prior to the close date. So please do not wait until the 14th day or the last minute to submit your questions. Please submit them as soon as you can. And we'll get the responses back out by way of sending them out through the public notice section. And I'll get to that shortly. So as I mentioned, this is the pre-bid. We are also having a site visit today at the Pat Frank Court Building, 419 Pierce Street, and it starts at 2 p.m. We're running it from 2 to 5. However, we prefer that you get there as soon, at the 2 p.m. starting point, so that we can get through the site visit as a group. It's not going to be it's going to be a guided site visit. So just make sure that you can, try to get there as soon as you can. We will stay there until the end time, just for people that may not have been able to get there early, because we want everyone the opportunity to see the site. So just keep that in mind. And we will assemble outside the front door of the court building, and I'll have a sign-in sheet for you guys to sign in. Sign-in sheet will be posted in the bonfire system as well, most likely tomorrow, after I get back into the office. So again, we're going to assemble outside the front door before we go in. So you will see us out there. No worries about where we will be. We'll be outside the front door. So again, going down the schedule here, the deadline for submissions is the 18th, 2 p.m. Please try not to wait until the 1:55 to start preparing your bid. Try to start the day before. You can start at any time preparing your bid, because you can go back into it prior to submission. So start it early. That way you're not bumping up against the deadline to try to get it submitted. As we go down the screen here, the supporting documentation, these are all the documents related to this project. You have your contact terms and conditions. We have your location map. We have your plans, special conditions, specifications, and then a host of forms, some that need to be submitted with your bid, some that are not required to be submitted with your bid. Please just read the description of what the requirement says. It will tell you what's needed. So if it says submit with offer, then you need to sign the form and upload it and submit it with your bid. If it says it's a contract administration form, then it's not required to submit. It's for once the contract is in play, and those forms are required throughout the life of the contract. But just be mindful of the items that say submit with offer. The descriptions are there. So just make sure you read through the contract terms and conditions document, because most likely most of your questions are probably in that document. Just read through it carefully and thoroughly to make sure that you understand what's required of the contract, as well as anything that pertains to your, getting your pricing and whatnot. So again, your special conditions, your specifications, read through them carefully. If you have a question, submit your question in writing. So as we move down the list, again, all of these documents, make sure you be mindful of what you need to submit with your offer. We have a bid table, which is your line items. Again, once you get into it, you can download the form, you fill in your pricing, save it to your system, and then you upload it back into the bonfire system prior to submission. These are the list of items that are required to be submitted. Some of them say optional, but the ones that say required, you must upload to into the system for submission. That would be your bid bond, your subcontractor's material supplier list, your bid line item pricing, several questions of acknowledgement, the human trafficking form. Again, each one that's required says that it is required. Here we have the document takers. This is, again, a feature in Bonfire where you can see this. It provides a list of everyone that has downloaded this project or these documents that may or may not be interested. However, we do provide that information for you so that you can reach out to maybe a general contractor, if you're a sub and you're looking to partner, or if you are a general contractor looking for a sub, vice versa. So if you click on the view, the information for that contractor is listed here for you to reach out to them. Again, this is like your plan holders list. So instead of plan holders list, it says document takers, same thing. And it provides the information for you. So as we scroll down the screen, you will see the interested contractors. So again, this is an opportunity for subcontractors to put their information in here so that any general contractors can reach out to subs that are interested, and it also could possibly help you with your MBE goal. Now, they may or may not be certified. That is up to you to make sure that they are a DMDWBE certified in order for them to count towards your goal. But the feature is here, so utilize it. That's why it's here. So you reach out to the subs. Again, for the subs can reach out to the general contractors by way of the document takers list. As we scroll down the screen, here is the public notices section that I mentioned. I have been posting responses to some of the questions that I've already received. So just make sure you're paying attention and reading through the questions and the responses to the questions so that you're not submitting duplicate questions and that your questions are getting answered. I usually send out reminders. I sent out a reminder yesterday for the pre-bid. This is the section that all information to the bidders gets posted here. The vendor discussions, that is where we would prefer you to submit your questions through that vendor discussions portal. Once you're logged in, you can have access to submit a question. But please submit your questions through the vendor discussions, and then we will provide this response to the public notice. That way everyone sees the responses and is seeing the same thing. No one is getting only individual responses. All the responses are going out to everyone by way of the public notice section. Okay. Any questions so far of what I've gone over with the Bonfire system? Feel free to unmute and ask a question about anything I've gone over with the Bonfire system at this time. Okay, I'll assume not. So at this time,
Sybil,
I'm going.
There was a question in the chat. Maybe you can answer that question.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the time and the day, the site visit is today at 2 p.m. It's today at 2 p.m. Someone asks, can you please provide the time and date for the site visit? The site visit is today at 2 p.m. Okay. And again, we are asking that you assemble at the in the front of the courthouse building, and we will walk in or guide you in through the courthouse based on what we would like for what needs to be seen in that building. Okay.
The Sybil, that is at the Pat Frank Courthouse, not at the Edgecombe Courthouse.
Correct. And the address again as I've shown here is in Bonfire. It's also in the contract terms and conditions document, 419 Pierce Street in Tampa. Any other questions before we move on?
Sybil, just to clarify, we're going to be meeting at the main entrance at the North Pierce Street entrance, right?
Is that in the middle?
Well, there's two entrances. The main entrance is at North Pierce Street.
Yeah, you tell me where you want them to assemble. I'll send out another reminder of actually where, but you're saying the North
Pierce Street.
North
It would be much more comfortable to meet in the lobby. I think it's big enough to hold all of us before we stage and get started rather than stand outside in the sun. Might even be raining.
Yeah, well, of course, naturally, if it's raining, we'll definitely don't want anyone standing out. But yeah, that's fine. If you want to go ahead and enter in to the court building, and then we'll assemble. Sure, we can assemble in the lobby of the court building. Then I'll send out a notice stating that after the meeting.
There's two entrances.
So you're saying
both entrances go into the lobby, so it's in the middle of the building.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I mean, you guys know the plan better than I do, so.
Yes, and I can clarify, one is at North Pierce Street and the other entrance is at North Jefferson Street.
Okay, well, we're gonna go in through Pierce, so let's just leave it at Pierce, just so there's no confusion. Just enter through the Pierce Street entrance. And we'll assemble in the lobby. And again, I'll have a sign-in sheet. That way we can be signing in. You can be signing in while we're waiting on the people to get there.
There is a question, Sybil. Someone asked, can they take photos during the walkthrough?
Angelica, is that allowed in the courthouse? I mean, or is that something you would need to inquire about?
I would need to inquire.
Okay,
but I believe once we get into the space, it's occupied right now.
Right. Okay. Well, get clarification on that, and I'll send that out, or we'll make the announcement at the time. But if you can go ahead and try to get clarification on whether photos will be permitted once inside the court space.
Yes.
Anything else before I move to the next topic?
I just wanted to add and enforce that we do encourage everyone to be there on time, only because we have other departments that will be joining us to give us access to some of these spaces, such as the electrical room, data closets, as well as the space that's been allocated for the office space for the contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be there for a limited amount of time. They won't be there throughout the whole walkthrough.
Okay, good information. Anything else? Mm-hmm.
Is there designated parking close by, or just wherever you can find parking?
Yeah, there's no parking that we have allocated for the site visit. You have street parking if you're lucky. I mean, there's the various parking lots around, but yeah, there's no designated parking for the visit.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, so I'm going to presume not. And at this time, I'm going to ask Diana Walker from our Economic Development Department to speak about the MBE participation goal requirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Sybil. So there is a 19% MBE participation goal. One of the necessary documents that is required to be submitted at the time of bid is the completed subcontractor material supplier list, also known as the MBE1 form. Key things here is to ensure that all of the firms that are listed are DWBE certified firm and their certifications are up to date. And if you are using a firm that is not currently certified with Hillsborough County, that they are currently certified with another local municipality, whether that's city, county, or state, and they have not previously received a reciprocal from us and have not been graduated or denied from our program. If you have any questions or need to verify any information that has been provided to you by any of the potential subcontractors, you can call or email me to verify their status. That is the only types of questions that I can answer. And along with the MBE1 form, you will be asked, if not submitted already at the time of bid, for letter of intent for each one of those MBE subcontractors listed on the MBE1 form. Insurance and professional service firms can be utilized to meet the goal requirement as well. And you are encouraged to provide your good faith efforts documentation, which should include the forms and the backup documentation if you feel that your firms listed on the MBE1 form may not reach that 19% MBE participation goal. If you have any questions on how to complete that document, you can also reach out to our office. Am I able to share my screen, Sybil?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I just want to show them something on the county's website on how they can access the list of our active firms. So if you visit the county's website and click on businesses and then click on doing business with us and choose minority, women, and small business. And you scroll down, you can click on this and you can see firms that have previously received a reciprocal or have graduated our program. And that is current as of August 6, 2024. And if you click on search the NB and SBE directory, you can search by commodity codes, and you can also type in the name of a business to verify if they are certified. Key thing here, make sure you unclick small business and service disabled, because those two certifications do not count towards the MBE participation goal. They have to be DMDWBE certified with Hillsborough County or be certified as a minority-owned business with another government agency, as long as they're not on this list.
Mm.
And that is all I have. Thank you, Sybil.
2 months ago, I had to
Thank
give
you.
their IIO director access to that building because they were in that space.
Okay, so again, just to reiterate on what Diana Walker said, please make sure you understand the goal requirements and that you submit the required documentation to qualify. If you do not meet the goal by way of the requirements, then you may be found non-responsive. So if you have a question about the forms, if you have a question about any of the subcontractors that you're planning on using as to whether they're certified or not, you can utilize the website that she just went to, or you can reach out to her directly without violating the cone of silence. She will only be able to answer questions about the MBE participation goal, but you can reach out to her directly with questions to make sure you understand the requirements. So again, it's your responsibility as the contractor or the bidder to make sure the subcontractors that you're using are certified. It's your responsibility to make sure of that. So just make sure you do your due diligence while you're searching for your subs, as well as filling out the forms correctly. So any questions regarding the MBE participation goal requirements. Any questions this time? Okay, I presume not. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Angelica, the project manager, to discuss any things she wants to highlight about the scope of the work. Angelica?
Thank you, Sybil. I just wanted to go over briefly on the scope for this project. Hillsborough County is proposing the construction of the existing space, which is approximately 6,228 square feet, located in the southeast of the first floor on the Pat Frank Court Building. The facility is located at 419 Pierce Street, Tampa, Florida, 33602. The project scope includes, but is not limited to, selective interior demolition of the existing rooms, room partitions, finishes, and the renovation and remodel of interior spaces. The new work will include 2 judicial chambers, 2 new courtrooms with some minor scope to the existing break room, a new jury room, and also some mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and fire systems. All are existing for the MEP work, but then there is some work that needs to be done within that space. We do have rain on. We can go over the drawings if you would like, Sybil.
I don't know that, no, I would say not at this time to go over any drawings. I mean, if you want to highlight some important key points, but yeah, this, the requirement is for the bidders to review all that documentation.
Understood, and that's fine.
And
We
submit
just
any questions at the time.
okay. We did include in the special conditions a few alternates in there. I can go over that if you'd like, real quick.
Angelica, yes, please.
Okay, great. So we do have some alternates here. I can share my screen. This is found in the special conditions. That's located as well in Bonfire. So we have our first alternate, which is in the break room. The base bid has this to remain. And then the alternate is to provide new cabinetry, a new sink, a new faucet, and also associated plumbing per plans and specifications. Our alternate 2 is the court benches. The base bid includes these to be owner furnished and contractor installed. The additive alternate would include the court benches to be contractor furnished and contractor installed per plans and specs. Our alternate 3 is regarding the raised access floor. The base bid does not have any scope for this flooring. And the alternate includes contractor to provide labor and material for the raised plywood platform flooring and ramps associated for a complete system. This is provided in per plans, 3 inches high, 2x2 raised access flooring in areas indicated on the plans located on sheet number A2.1. Plate access flooring, low finished floor height. Add alternate number 4 is wall paneling and trim in courtrooms and vestibule. Our base bid has this as no scope for any wall paneling and trim in the courtrooms and vestibule. The add alternate is contractor to provide and install all labor and material for all wall paneling and wood trim in courtrooms 130W, 130Z, and vestibule 130T. Add alternate number 5, low walls and jury box. Base bid, no scope for low walls at gallery and jury box and raised platforms at jury box in courtrooms is to be provided. The ad alternate is contractor to provide labor and material per bid set plans, complete assembly for low walls at gallery and jury box, and raised platforms at jury box in courtrooms. Our last alternate is carpet and vinyl base. Base bid is no scope for carpet and vinyl base. Ad alternate contractor to provide all labor and material, broadloom and or carpet tile and vinyl base as shown on bid set plans per finished specifications. That's all.
Angelica, I think you need to go over some of the special conditions, security items.
This is a secured building, so any contractor, any vendor, the awarded contractor would need to submit a form to get clearance to access the building. And the contractor will be responsible for the safety and security of the project site, and they must take special precaution to protect its own personnel and the public from its construction activities. So 12.11, the contractor shall be responsible for providing names and social security numbers for all personnel accessing the Pat Frank 419 Pierce Street building for use by county security and performing background checks. The contractor shall be responsible for ensuring that all personnel engaged by the contractor or subcontractor shall be properly attired and provided with identification badges identifying the individual's name and company name before entering secured areas within these buildings. Contractor to provide a list of vendors and complete and criminal justice information services form.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do have here for trash removal, and we can talk about this more once we get on site as far as the loading and unloading of materials, and entrance and exit for the trades and accessibility.
Just to clarify, all that information is within the special conditions. What Angelica is talking about is you can see the area on the site.
It is. Thank you. So we do have here 14.6 for parking. The contractor shall make its own arrangements for delivery and parking within the site, coordinate parking staging area with the project manager. There is 14.7 is the temporary office. The contractor as assigned shall set up office within the building in the first floor, room 105, which has been assigned for the awarded contractor. The space is currently used for storage materials and shall maintain cleanliness. And we'll see it once we get there in person. Being that the building is going to be occupied during construction, if there are any inspections or testings that would impact any other offices, such as fire alarm testing, we would need to know that in advance to notify everyone so they can coordinate that. And we would also need to set up after hours testing if needed. That's all I have, Sybil.
Okay, thank you, Angelica. So again, just to reiterate, she, highlighted some things in the special conditions, but it's your responsibility to read through it in its entirety. The special conditions, the contract terms and conditions, as well as the specifications and of course the plans. So please read through everything carefully and thoroughly to make sure you understand all the requirements and what all you should be including in your bid price. Again, it's very important that you understand what all needs to be included in your bid price. I do want to mention, we did receive a question about the allowances. And
That's in the
the
special conditions.
what's that? The question, the response to that question?
Yes, it's in the special conditions for your allowances.
Yeah, I believe the question was, oh, the allowances is in the contract terms and conditions document, but as well as I believe some mention in the special conditions. But the question that came through was about, is there a night work involved? Is that highlighted in the special conditions as well? The response to that?
We can respond to that
Okay.
in the addendum.
So, okay, so we will provide responses to the questions that were submitted in the chat, but it's most likely the responses are in the documents. If not, then we will do an addendum to make sure that those that is clarified as to whether there's night work involved. So again, we'll take the questions that were submitted in the chat feature, as well as any questions that you may submit through the vendor discussions, and get either the response and provide you where it is located in the documents, or if it's not in there, we will process an addendum to make sure it's added. But I wanted to make mention back on the allowances. The allowances are not to be included in your bid price. Do not include the allowance in your bid price. The county will add the allowance. We'll add the allowance. So just make sure you keep that in mind. And again, that response did go out by way of the public notice, because someone asked that question about the allowance being included. So do not, again, I'm going to repeat, do not include it in your bid price. We, the county, will add that, those allowances to your bid price. Also want to mention, as far as the alternates goes, you are required to provide a price for all of the alternates, as well as in addition to the base bid amount. Now, the county may or may not select all of the alternates, but we do require that you submit pricing for all of the alternates. So keep that in mind. And it is also mentioned in the contract terms and conditions document of that the county may or may not select the all of the alternates. So keep that in mind as well. I believe I did see another question come in through the chat. It says, can details be provided for what the vault is constructed of? So again, we will take these technical type questions and provide a response by way of either an addendum or by way of the public notice, pointing you to where you can find the information. We can't take, this whole hour to answer some of these technical questions. We need additional time to research and provide a correct response. So we will take the questions that were submitted in the chat and provide responses to them. Also want to mention anyone that came on late, if you can just drop your company name and your personal name in the chat feature. I will prepare an attendance sheet based on the name and information that was provided by way of the chat feature. So if you can just drop your personal name and your company's name in the chat feature, I'd really appreciate it. Any other questions? Any other questions that we can respond to based on what I submitted, stated about bonfire? Otherwise, submit your technical questions through the vendor discussions portal in Bonfire, and we will get a response to you.
Another question came in on the chat, Sybil. For the existing wall staying and not being affected, is the contractor expected to fix any imperfections prior to painting?
Yeah, we'll answer that by way of a public notice or an addendum. These are getting technical, and, I want to make sure that we respond correctly and not just, kind of on the fly here. So we will provide a response to those questions that are being submitted via the chat.
Yes. And Sybil, I wanted to add that this project is permitted, and the permit number is located in the special conditions document.
Okay.
I'll
Okay,
stop sharing.
okay, no worries.
Thank you.
Just to again highlight a few things before we conclude. Again, the site visit is today, this afternoon, starting at 2 p.m. We're asking that you enter through the Pierce Street entrance and assemble in the lobby. I will be there along with the project manager and some others from the county. I will have a sign-in sheet for you to sign in on. And that sign-in sheet will be provided via the public notice tomorrow. I will also be preparing a pre-bid attendance sheet, again, based on those that have provided their name and company name in the chat feature. If you did not provide it, your name will not be on the list, because I don't know, I don't know people's names, and I don't know what company you're with. That's why we're asking you to enter that information into the chat feature. Also, again, the cone of silence is in effect. The only exception to reaching out to another county employee is you can reach out to the economic development representative regarding the MBE participation goal only. Okay, you can reach out to the economic development representative asking for assistance with the MBE participation goal only. Any other question, comment, concern should be submitted to me via the vendor discussion portal in Bonfire. Okay. Please utilize the Bonfire features that I went over. They are very helpful when looking for subcontractors, potential subcontractors, or for subcontractors looking for prime contractors to partner with. Again, the deadline for questions is going to be 14 days from today. 14 days from today. So please make sure you're getting your questions in sooner rather than later, so that we can get the responses out sooner rather than later. We realize it takes time for you to prepare your bid, and you need to make sure you get all the information and the clarifications needed in order to do so. Anything else before we conclude today? Anything else? Okay, I'm going to presume not. I want to thank you all for your time and your attendance. Again, if you are interested in this project, we do encourage you to go to the site visit this afternoon. It's not mandatory. Neither was this pre-bid conference. Neither of these meetings are mandatory. We just encourage you to go to the site visit if you are interested in bidding on this project. We will get clarification on whether or not pictures are allowed prior to the start of the site visit, and we will make that announcement at the site visit. But again, you have your plans. The plans are provided, so we're allowing the site visit so you can get a visual of the spaces. But the plans are what you should be using to prepare your bids. So again, if there's nothing else, I'm going to conclude. We'll conclude the pre-bid conference for our IFB 24-24972. the Pat Frank Court Building Courtrooms Project. Again, thank you all for your time and attendance today. Have a good rest of your afternoon. Thank you.